Hey everybody, I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about building community. There's been a lot of posts that I've seen on different Facebook groups that I'm a part of where people are talking about basically getting together with other like-minded people. There's some like even in the Facebook group for like the town I'm like the towns we're a part of, or that we live in, I should say. And then there's ones that are more faith-based specific type of community and things like that. So basically there's a lot of people reaching out trying to create community, trying to create a group of friends or a group of like-minded individuals that can work on projects and tasks together, who can help each other out, things like that when they need it. Not necessarily like, living on the same property kind of community, but like in the same general vicinity, and you help each other out. One of the things that I actually do really love about Oklahoma is the fact that you have that almost no matter where you go, in the sense that people are willing to help you out. Now, that doesn't always mean that, everywhere you go, there's going to be people to help you out, but there's been multiple times where, I've been in a store with my kids and I'm trying to lift something heavy and someone stops and asks me if I need help. Usually it's a gentleman. Stops me to ask me if I need help lifting something that's kind of heavy. And I say, absolutely. Like, I'll let you lift this instead of me and deal with all my kids. And so, there's people that are willing to help, like in the store, or, if you're broken down on the side of the road, things like that. And so there's that side of things. Sorry, I heard a kid screaming. I'm trying to figure out why they're screaming. So life with kids. But the real thing that I'm talking about here isn't just necessarily building community in the sense of being nice to somebody, if you see somebody who's in need of help, but it's also actually building community and actually building like that group of friends or neighbors or anything like that, that you can turn to if you need help or if you need services or things like that. So everybody has their own gifts and talents and things they've learned over the years, tools, whatever, both physical and mental tools, things like that, that they can contribute to a community. And that's one of the things I think that people need to think about when they are talking about starting or wanting to try to start community type living, is what tools do you have to offer people? Sometimes it's time. Sometimes you may not have a ton of talents, but sometimes it's time. Sometimes it's a stay-at-home mom that's like, hey, if you need to go on a date night, I'll watch your kids for you. Just bring them over to my house and they'll play with my kids. Like stuff like that's like super, super valuable. um, but then there's also sometimes like the physical tools, like our neighbor. And if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, in the very beginning, when we first started out, we literally just had our neighbor that was super incredibly helpful to us. Let us borrow his tractor, gave us tons of lumber that we were able to use. It was used lumber from a deck that he had just redone, but it was still perfectly usable lumber that we've used for like our kids' fort, duck houses, chicken coops, like the whole 9 yards. So our neighbor recently let us borrow his laser level because we're going to be doing swales along our property to help like with flow of water and everything like that. And we just asked him, and he said, sure. Yeah, we knew he had a laser level because he built a 3-acre pond. But we asked him if we could borrow it, and he said, sure, no problem. Well, the thing about it is at the same time, we've seen a tractor get stuck on his property. There was a buddy of his that was mowing his land, and we saw the tractor get stuck. So my husband and a guy we have here on property with us currently, they went over with another tractor to try to get them out. They didn't ask for help, but we saw that his tractor was stuck, so we went over to try to help him. There's been other times where our neighbor has done stuff that we've been like, hey, do you need help? Like, we see something's going on your property. Do you need help with something? Or my husband will honestly just go over to talk and say, hey, how you doing? Like, and check in on him. So it's those kind of things where you're not even necessarily asked. Like, you just be a good neighbor. We have another neighbor of ours that lives nearby that just recently helped a semi-truck that was dropping off rock here get unstuck with his, he used his giant John Deere tractor to get him unstuck. Well, guess what? We've also called him multiple times when he's had cows get out. And he's also helped us, again, another neighbor, that same neighbor, with the John Deere tractor. He's helped us multiple times when we first moved here as well too, giving us veggies from his garden and everything else. But we've also called him when when cows have gotten out on our side of the road, and we let him know. And it's things like that that help build that community. It's things where you're just being a good person, and you're not like, we didn't tell him his cows were out to try to get anything out of him. We don't go over and offer our friend, our other neighbor that's next door to us, help when we see a tractor stuck because we want something out of him. He was honestly, our neighbor with the tractor stuck was honestly the first one to offer any assistance to us because he knew we came out here with nothing. And he saw that and he wanted to be helpful. It's stuff like that where you build each other up and you use what you have, whether it's time, talents, a phone call to let someone know their cows got out. That really is helpful. That really helps build that community where it shows other people that, hey, I got your back if you need help, and I don't expect anything out of you. Because that's the one thing, like, you shouldn't be offering people help if you want something from them. Now, it's good to still offer help, but you shouldn't be doing it with a heart of, I want. It should just be to help them. And then in return, they'll probably just want to help you. And it builds that community and builds that trust. Something else, too, is also your time. Something about Florida that I love all my friends back in Florida, but there's a lot of times where even myself, we were just, quote, too busy to help. No one helped us pack up. We were moving to Oklahoma. No one helped us move. No one, shoot, my third baby was born and barely anybody even came to see my child. But it's one of those things where a lot of times people get caught up in the rat race. They get caught up in their own lives. They get caught up in, well, I have all this stuff that I want to do and I need to take care of, so why am I going to help somebody else? And again, it's not necessarily with a heart of ill intent. It's just being in that rat race and trying to get all the stuff done that you want to get done, but not thinking about, like, hey, you know what? These people probably need help. And even if there was actually, when we did move, we did ask for help from some people and they said they would, and then they didn't show up. And again, such is life. But being up here with a group of friends that we've been able to gain while we've been here, and neighbors as well too. We've had, when my husband traveled, we had, my mom bought the girls a playground. Well, my husband was traveling so much that it had been here for like 2 months and he hadn't even been able to put it together because he'd been on the road so much. So he put it out to a bunch of the guys that we know up here, like, hey, like, my kids need a playground. We have it in a box. Is anybody willing to help out? Because he was getting ready to leave again for another trip for work. And guess what? 5 guys came out, like, on a weekend, sacrificed their own time, sacrificed, a day where they could be working on projects on their property, but they came over to build a playground for my kids. And the same thing back again, my husband has gone to help these guys out when they've needed help. And we can't always help every single time help is needed, but we try our hardest to help when people ask for help. It truly is a blessing to help others, and not like I'm so great, like, I help someone. But it's nice to be able to help someone. It's nice to be able to render aid in a sense, whether it's building a playground or dropping off rock or, I don't know, helping build a chicken coop or something like that. Or, giving dinner. We've had a friend, we have more friends that are having babies like we have. And you know what? I'm so excited that I can provide dinner for at least one night for them. It may not always necessarily be a home cooked meal because I have a baby too, and I'm kind of bad about that right now, making home cooked meals. But you know what? I still took the time to buy some food for them to send to them on one of the nights that, they may need it. And it's one of those things where if you want to build community, if you want to have a community, you have to be willing to help as well. Again, not doing the help so you can get something out of it, but just being a good person, just being a good neighbor, just being someone who some people can count on to be there for them when they need it. I think what it is, a friend, it's in Proverbs. A friend loves at all times, but a brother is built for adversity. Be a brother. Friends are great. You need the love and everything else, but be a brother. Be somebody who's willing to be be the person who's willing to be there for someone during the good and the hard times. Be there for them, help them through the hard times. And hard times don't necessarily have to be like something horrible is going on. It could just be you don't have enough time, or you're injured or something like that, and you need help with something on the property. Not something crazy huge, but just be there for someone. Be the person that other people can count on, and guess what? They're going to start trying to be the person that you can count on too. But when you're building community, think about what you have to offer, and think about also too the kind of person you want to be. A lot of it goes into being the kind of person that God talks about that in the Bible. The kind of person, like I said, that is built for adversity, not just there in the good times, but also there for when you need help. So I just wanted to share that a little bit because I've seen a lot of I want to build a community on Facebook and things like that. And that's great, but you have to think about the fact that it's not just you that should be getting the help. It's you helping others as well too. It's a two-way street, and it's really important to be that person. And it's really good just to be a good neighbor too. Like I said, our neighbors are letting us borrow stuff and use stuff and everything else. They also know that they're going to get that thing back the same way it came to us or better. If something breaks, we'll fix it. Our neighbor who has the tractor that he's let us borrow it sometimes things are broken on it. Not any fault of our own, not misuse. It's just an old tractor. And we used it and something broke, and guess what? We fixed it. So he had a brand new part. But that's part of it too. You know, being a good neighbor, when somebody does let you borrow something, then you return it better than it came back, or at least the same. So, man, I got animals and kids and everything going off right now, guys. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope you all have a great day. And if you are looking to build that community, just think about it, pray on it, and ask Yah to bring the people into your life that can help you build that community, because it's a wonderful thing to have people there for you and to be able to be there for others. Hope you all have a great day. Bye.